What's good with it? In the hood with it? You already know what it is, man. It's Gunner's Profiles, where we're gonna profile some real shit. We're gonna talk about some real life things that have happened, that are occurring, that are happening around you right now, and maybe you're not aware, and maybe you are. I know some of you have been giving me some good feedback on some of these positive, yet real topics I'm speaking on, and in the menudo style, in a direct fashion. Let's get straight to it. No added preservatives, none of that fakery, none of that soft shit. None of that baby shit. We're not doing that, Holmes. We're coming with real. Palo. Let's get it. Now, you see the thumbnail right there. The book of Revelations. And, hey, props to the people that got at me yesterday and they said, Gunner, you don't need to guard your religion or you can't speak on it. Speak on it. Guess what? Pensa la tira. Con permiso, I'm going to speak on it. But I'm going to speak some real. I'm going to speak about the book of Revelations and how the things that it says are happening right now. Right before us. Now, I know ever since I was a little mocoso, ever since I was a kid, my abuelita, my jefa, my tias, they would all, mijo, the end of the world is coming, you don't understand. Repent, go to church, right? Pulling my ears and all that. You know what I mean? So I gave my ears, they ripped every piece of cartilage I have in the ear. I looked like a fucking UFC fighter. But trip out. In real talk, what they were saying was righteous. See, the preparation and the dealing with what's going on has been going on since I was born. I've always heard the end is coming. The end of the world is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And the whole time I was trying to come. You know what I mean? But now, as an adult and having the wisdom that I have and being educated enough to understand, I realized they weren't too far off. You see, this end started a while back. And if you've ever read the Bible, then you understand there's a progression in the Bible. See, the Bible... The acronym for the Bible is basic instructions before leaving earth, right? And it's set in an acronym. And a lot of people, they stretch it to different imaginations and they call it this and they call it that. But it's a very educational book. It's the history of mankind. Yet, there's a lot in the middle people miss because they bypass it. And a lot of people go straight to the book of Revelations because they want to hear what's going to happen at the end. You know, even the people that don't believe, they're not true believers. They don't believe in a higher power or they believe in something else. They say, educate yourselves. They say, learn your history. Well, this is all I have. So this is what I get into to teach me about myself, to teach me about everybody else, and to understand how to treat people in this world. So trip out on this. The book of Revelation is a scary book. It's probably the scariest book I ever read because it's a factual book on something that's going to happen eventually. And to understand that it's happening now trips me out. Seeing it unfold right before my eyes as it's spoken and as it's written would trip anyone out. It's time to educate ourselves on what's going on. If you don't believe, if you're not a true believer, what stops you from at least picking up the book and reading the book of Revelations to get an understanding of how you need to prepare yourself for what's actually coming and what's happening now? Now, when I first got adapted to this book, I first went to the book of Zephaniah. Trip out. I'm kicking back. I'm in the oil in Susanville, right? And I'm stressed out, man. I'm stressed out for reals because there's no books in there. The book cart's not passing by. We're in the oil. My celly's a paisa, man. Me and him could barely communicate because I'm not going to lie. My Spanish isn't all that, right? So we couldn't communicate on that level. But we knew enough to understand it's time to do some burpees. But he would constantly read his Bible. And I've told this story before. One day I'm like, man, bro, I'm stressed. I'm bored, right? I'm bored. I need to read something. He's like, why don't you try the Bible? And I was like, I'm not no thumbprint. I don't need no crutch, right? And he was like, no, it ain't about a crutch. It's about actually and factually looking at something that could help you. So I said, okay, let me try this out. So I crack it open and I'm reading it like a book. I'm trying to read it like if it's a Louis L'Amour book, right? I'm hoping it's a Jackie Collins I can get my swang on, but it's not. And at first it's a capturing book, right from the gate, the creation and this and that. I'm on it like, all right, okay. And then it starts getting into Numbers and Deuteronomy and all these different books. And it lost my interest. It loses me, right? Or I lost it because I wasn't really reading it for what it was, which was foretelling my future, foretelling everybody's future. So anyways, I remember I telling my cellie, hey, Holmes, I can't get it. I'm pacing back and forth. I'd rather do push-ups, right? Something that I know that will build me physically. Instead of building myself spiritually and mentally, I wasn't preparing myself for it. I was preparing myself just for another day. So anyways, I asked him one day, how do you understand it? I think you can't even speak English. I'm not being racist. I'm just saying, to what degree? And he tells me, guard, shut up, I'm talking. He tells me just like this, right? You got to pray for understanding. So I said, I don't even know what the word. God, help me to understand because I need help, right? My eyes were open. It's hard to explain. I know some of you out there won't understand it, but I'm telling you, it was the real. It was the real deal, Holyfield, right? So I prayed for understanding and I was granted it. Next day, I opened up the book and I truly understood what it meant. You got to understand the Bible is written in parables. It's written in little stories to, basically stimulate your mind, but also it's told in them old ways. So you have to adapt them old ways to these new ways. When it's talking about dragons spitting fire, they're not talking about dragons, literally. They're talking about planes, but you have to be able to understand that, see the differences and the similarities in what you're reading and what you believe. So now I read it. Get to the book of Revelations, which I've always had heard of. My tias, my abuelita, like I said, they used to speak on that. Mijo, read Revelation. It's going to reveal itself to you. Okay, let me reveal now that I understand. And did it, right? But before I get to the book of Revelations, I got to a book, Zephaniah. Me and my son got to conversating about this. And he told me about 9/11, what happened on 9/11. Now, we all know what happened. The towers fell, man. It was a very unfortunate event in the United States history, but it's something that truly happened. Trip out on this. If you go to the New International Version in the Bible and open up page 911, it'll be the book of Zephaniah. And in that book, it describes exactly what happened on 9/11, all the way to it will be a dark, desolate day. There will be cries out from the heroes of mourning from the fish gate. Towers will fall. It will be a dark, desolate day. I was like, oh, hell no, right? It actually was saying what happened on page 911, right? Tripped me out. But it confirmed my actual thinking of becoming a true believer and understanding what exactly was going on. Now fast forward to the book of Revelation, gente. And this is where the preparation becomes real. Yesterday, I did a video about preparing yourselves, preparing your family, educating your kids, getting the arroz ready, the frijoles, the agua, and so many other things, man. Like a homeboy told me yesterday in my live, you need to learn how to filter your own water. You need to learn how to collect seeds to grow your own food. You need to learn, certain gas masks and how they work. Different things, because we are on the brink of something happening in this world. If you don't see it, you're missing it. Anyways, book of Revelations. Here's a lot of things that stand out to me about this book that tells me this is the end times and this is the time now to educate yourselves and prepare. Because if you don't, no one ain't going to do it for you. See, Noah prepared himself for the first time. And everyone laughed. Oh, hell no, right? And guess what? They're smooth sailing. And they're all, I can't breathe. Noah, fuck with me. Noah was like, toma, puto. Remember when you made fun of me? Remember when you didn't believe? Well, only true believers really righteously will survive. Okay, now look. You go to the book of Revelations, you crack it open, you start to read it. And one of the things that stands out to me that's happening now is it talks about the great river Euphrates, right? And it talks about the great river Euphrates will dry up in the end times. Now, we're talking about a river, one of the river that's combined with the Tigris, and then you have the Nile, you got all these. The Tigris and the Euphrates, these are two of the biggest rivers in the world. Okay, this is a river that should never, ever be depleted, should never be dried up. And it's dry. It's every day it gets more drier. Look into it. Google it. In the Bible, it says that the Lord locked up 4 angels and he cast them, 4 demons, and he cast them under to be bound in chains under the Euphrates. And when it dries up, 2 things will happen. They will be released to kill 1/3 of the earth. Right? Is it going to happen? I don't know. The other day, Google it. If you think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? Google it. Some archaeologists was looking up some shit because it's all dried up. They can go in there now, right? And they found these tunnels, these caverns. They actually opened a hole and you could hear chains and what sounds to me like demons. I can't call it. Voices screaming out and roaring out. It was a trip just to hear that. Now, of course, it could be man-made. People could, make it sound like however they want it to sound. But it's kind of unprecedented and it kind of took, the world by storm. It went viral. A lot of people were watching it or hearing about it. Just tripped people out. I heard it and it didn't sound human-like. It sounded like chains and it sounded like someone crying for help and it didn't sound like it was a human being. It didn't sound like a torta when I'm boning in the back by the corner. They go, ah, right? But it didn't sound quite like that. It was a little different. Had a little bit of a different twang and twist to it. Anyways, Spencer, I have fun. So now I'm listening to that and I'm like, wow, this is exactly what the book I read, right? It's happening now. Also, it also says, when this great river dries up, this will make a pathway from the kings of the east to come to cause war and desolation. Now, you already know who the kings of the east are. I ran you down yesterday. That being China, Russia, and several other countries that are coming together, to basically end our economy, to mess up our economy, to hurt the United States. Now, when people talk to me about the United States, they say, well, in the Bible it doesn't say the United States. Do you understand that it refers to the United States? And I could be totally wrong. Correct me if I am in the comments. But this is the way I read into it. The whore of Babylon. The whore of Babylon. What does the whore of Babylon mean? See, a whore is someone who takes in a lot of different people, a lot of men, right? The United States takes in a lot of refugees, a lot of immigrants, a lot of people. The United States is comprised of every nationality, every ethnicity, every race. We're all different, but we're here. Now, Babylon can be considered Babel. When the Lord listens to your voices, it sounds like Babel to him, just like the Tower of Babel, because there's a lot of different languages being spoke in this one place. So that is what I consider the whore of Babylon, right? It's not a bad thing. I love the United States of America, but at the same time, I'm just saying, if you really read into it and get a grip and a grasp of the knowledge of what it's saying, this is how it referred to the United States. Now, every democracy will fall. Every great king will fall. Every great kingdom will fall. Yes, they will fall. This is what's going to happen in the end times, and it's happening right before our eyes. Everything has fell. Everything has crumbled around us. Our economy is taking a shit. Our dollar is being devalued. Every day, if you turn on the news, and I know you're not supposed to listen to everything that you hear or believe everything you read or everything you see, but man, there comes a time in your life when you need to pay attention, gente. And I'm telling you, the time is now. You look at the news and you see, man, they're shooting off rockets. They're preparing themselves for something bigger than what they're telling us. Okay? Now, we understand it's our own government, it's our own people that will cause our demise. If you're too stupid enough to not understand that, well, ¿sabes qué? The wind's blowing, and you need to let it blow you that way while I'm over here, because I'm trying to give you the knowledge you won't get in college, or maybe you can get it in college, maybe even at Bible study. I don't know. I'm not here to promote nothing like that. I'm just here to say, open your eyes and educate yourself, and especially your family and your children. You will not be looked at or looked after. You need to do it yourself for your own people. Raza, I'm here to be our voice and do it for us. So that's why I'm doing what I can. Trip, I even put on my church shirt. Okay. Because I'm trying to get with it today. No, I don't have court. Spence, I already did that. I won custody. Now look, when it comes to the book of Revelations, there's a lot of things that I don't even understand. I read it and I'm like, I try to get an understanding. So I go to different places, people that are mentors of mine or educators or maestros or people that I know are well versed in this, and I go to them for the education that I need that I do not have. I get a lot of different rhymes and reasons. I get a lot of different philosophies and a lot of different, maybe it's their agenda or whatever they're trying to push. But I'm open to receiving education and listening to people, because that's what you're supposed to do, Raza. You're supposed to listen, so that way you're accustomed, you're educated enough to know what to tell other people or what to do. It's going on around us. The end is coming. Okay, I'm not a what is that called? A conspiracy theorist or nothing. But all you have to do is see what's going on. Sabes que, do you understand how much eggs cost us here? Leche. Sabes que, I'm not 6'9". But I'm telling you right now, it's fucking expensive. Gas, astronomical. Different things are changing. You say, well, that's just over here. Yeah, it is over here. And this is where we're at. So you need to educate yourselves and understand that everything that is said in that book of Revelations is coming to pass. It talks about the Antichrist. It talks about people that are going to go out there and they're going to speak ill will. It talks about the world being in chaos and disease. If you haven't noticed, we're all vaccinated. I mean, some people are. There's a lot that's going on that's starting to happen right before our eyes and unfolds. And it takes you and me and people to understand. See, if you have an understanding and you know what you truly believe in or the route to go, you'll be just all right. You'll be fine. Death is promised to everybody. Life isn't. Okay? Life is what you make of it. If you have a great life, it's because you did the positive and the right things to impact and have a great life. If you want your kids to have the good things in life, then you have to raise them and teach them to have the great things in life. You have to make it a necessary thing that education and instill it is number one to them. But even our educational system is being tainted right now. The world is losing its grip. The world is changing drastically in the last 10 years right before our eyes. Now, I heard it when I was a kid. Hey, mijo, be prepared, be prepared. I'm prepared. I got one of the things on in Pinchy Wyatt Earp. A bullwhip, I said, like, what's his name? The Raiders of the Lost Ark? Orale, Indiana. And I'm ready to go, Jones. But at the same time, mind is key. Educate your mind, okay? If you read the book of Revelations, you need to understand that a lot of these things that they say, have already came to pass. We're getting towards the end. Okay, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear it. They get shocked. They get scared. You get scared for your family. And all I can tell you is look into preparing yourselves for the end times, because I believe the end times are here. Now, I could be totally off base. You could have another 30 or 40 of them. Órale, cruise my 65 and live my best life getting mamons every day from a torta named Jasmine. Did I just say your name? Spencer, right? But everything is good in the hood for now. Until they start making you take chips and marks and all kinds of different things, and they start making you, pay for your water more than you've already paid for it now. And then there's no more water, and then there's no more formula for your kid, and then there's no more diapers. And then you're over there boning, just having kids, but there ain't no diapers. That's it. You can't even afford them. Everything is being devalued. Everything is being set up for you to fail. See, the world we live in, and it says it in the Bible, there's haves and have-nots. And a lot of us that are sitting here on YouTube have not. You might have a nice home. You might have bought your first home, or maybe even have a couple homes, some properties, but you're really a have-not. See, there's a 1% of this world that really has. And then there's a lot of percent that don't, You might think, oh, well, I'm comfortable, man. As long as I just mind my own business and do my own thing and raise my family right, I'll be all right. And quite possibly you might. But this thing that's happening, this global pandemic, this global thing that we're going through, this chaos is going to affect every single person. And that's why it's up to you as being the proprietor, the leader of your family. It's up to you to educate the younger generation, the young ones, your people, your family, and take care of them. Like I said, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, not necessarily just rice and beans and water and canned foods, but there's so much more. The filtration of water, the learning different languages so that you can communicate with other people, because there's going to be a time when you're going to have to do that. The value of money is going to be so decreased, man. You're not going to know what to do. Start collecting seashells. I said, I don't know what it's going to go to, but I know I've learned so far in this life through the book of Revelations and just having some common sense that what goes around comes around, man. Sasuke, look, the other year they were wearing bell bottoms again. Since the 70s, they haven't done that. Everything repeats itself. Everything constantly repeats itself. And just like the beginning of the world where people didn't know and they were using whatever for currency, that's what's going to repeat itself, man. Precious metals is what you want to invest in. Okay, gold, silver, platinum, if you can afford it. Convert your money into something that lasts. Get your water supply, build your structure, build your home, create a plan with your family. Let your family know that at the end of the days, when something really does happen, because it could happen anytime. You ever seen Red Dawn? They're going to be vatos con un pinche parachutes and spears coming out the sky. I don't know exactly how it's going to end up, but read the book of Revelations, because it will lace you up and you'll feel empowered with understanding. You'll understand, like, hey, at least I try to do everything I can. It's just like when you get a new crib, you got to put it together. You got to read the book. Even though you done probably put about 10 of them together because you're having a gang of kids with 6 different baby mamas. But you're cruising through it, man, just so you get a common understanding. We'll do the same thing with the Bible. It's worth a chance. Why not read something that's really, really, truly, and honestly going to impact your family? Now, if you're not a believer in the Bible and you believe in the Quran or the Torah or whatever it may be, educate your mind. Whatever your true belief is, I'm not here to knock you. I got mine. I'm sure you got yours. Just like I was a Norteño, that was my true belief, and the Sureños had theirs. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it was all about a respecting. But I understood that we were two different common causes fighting for what we believed in. Okay, now people, let's put all the gang stuff to the side. Let's put all the differences to the side. We are man. This is humankind, man. We need to survive. And the only way to survive is prepare yourselves. You still might not make it, but I'd rather be ready than have to get ready. I'd rather be prepared than unprepared. See, I'd rather have a need for what I got than a need for speed. That's just what it is. So it's going, oh, fool, I got to go. I forgot my wallet. Spencer Holmes. Boom. You forgot your wallet. That's it. You needed that money that was in there. So because I ain't breaking bread like Jesus said. Or did he? One never knows, does one. One thing I do know for sure is the book of Revelations is something that really impacts our life. It's a book that foretells our future, and we are in them times now. If you don't believe it, look around. That's it. Did you see that alien last night? I did that out there. Had a bigger people. He was just swinging up there. I was like, God, Lord, what the? You know what I mean? Times have changed. It's up to you to be prepared for it. With that being said, man, if you watch this, you're blessed for watching it, man. And then I gave you the knowledge that I got. If you didn't, obviously you did because you're hearing this. Bang, bang, you know what it is, gang, gang. With that being said, move smooth with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming to you and prepare your family. I plead to you, Raza, gente, even the woods. Prepare yourselves. It's getting ugly, man. You don't see it? Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm just trying to give you game.